Hi there, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm back again. Please go and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Help me hit my target for the end of March of getting about 155 subscribers. I'm sitting at 142 at the moment, so a little target would help me out. Anyway, having a break from Phyrexia Orbleby 1 today to go back in time. Not too far back in time, but back a couple of sets to the Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. One of the decks that's always been played by one of my mods on stream has been built around this commander. And I might as well show you the commander instead of talking about it. It's been Sefris of the Hidden Waves. White, blue and black for a 2/3 legendary creature human wizard. And whenever one or more creature cards are put in your graveyard from anywhere, venture into a dungeon. This triggers only once a turn. And then whenever you complete a dungeon, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Now, one of my mods on my stream, Zach, you can come and see my stream down below. Go and give me a follow over on Twitch as well. Loves dungeons, and he's been on and 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 on. Have I said it enough now? About me building a dungeon deck, and I've always held off. Purely because some of the cards I wanted to build in a dungeon deck came in the next set, the Battle for Baldur's Gate, the last Commander set that came out, and they went in price really quickly on mtgo, mainly because they were being played in Legacy, and there were some stupid combos that people will know about from the Legacy that revolved around some of these dungeon cards. However, a really big thing happened earlier this week, as I'm recording this, in that one of those cards got banned, and that meant all the prices of all the other cards went wee down. So it justified it to me to, at long last, go and pick up Sefris and build a deck and talk about it for Zach. Now, this is my take on it. I can't honestly remember what Zach was playing in his, but we're here. I'm doing my version on it. So, what does the deck look like? Well, as usual, for one of my deck techs, we have the usual selection of blue, black, and white lands in it when I've got these commanders. The key ones I always have: Reliquary Tower, Temple of the False God are here. We've got Fable, Passage, Field of the Dead as well, because dungeons at the end of the day have zombies in them. I played a lot of Dungeons and Dragons in my life. They've always had zombies. So I went with them. And then the ramp side of things, Soul Ring, Soul Talisman, Soul Ring, I should say, Arcane Signet, one of each of the talismans in the respective colours. And that's kind of where it stopped for the ramp. And then I went, right, let's see how many cards that either involve the initiative or venturing into a dungeon I can fit in one deck. Just because, yeah, okay, the idea of returning creatures fine, but I just want to be cycling through my dungeons as quick as I can be. So, what have we got? So, Ranger's Hawk, pay 3 mana, go and venture. Okay, activate only as a sorcery, but it's a 1/1 flyer for 1, which is reasonable to start with. Flies here as well. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, venture into the dungeon, enter the first room, or advance to the next room. The Secret Doors here as well. Venture into the dungeon, activate only as a sorcery. So 5 mana to do it, but it's a 0/4 blocker for 1 mana, which really is quite nice in Commander early games. Dungeon Crawler, just a little bit of returnable blocking fodder more than anything else is here, along with 50 feet of rope. That's the 4 mana venture into the dungeon, so hey. Delver's Torch, nice little bit of equipment that when you attack you get to venture. So yep, I'm happy with that plan. Keen-eared Sentry, you have hexproof, which are nice, and each opponent can't venture into the dungeon more than once each turn. Now, I wanted the hexproof because I've been coming up a lot against direct damage spells recently, people burning me to my head, and having this in play, yeah, it's only toughness 1, and it's not hexproof itself, but we have hexproof, so, it saves us for a little bit. The Rifts here, because we're in blue, we got to control the board somehow. And the background, the first one of the Battle for Baldur's Gates cards is here. Dungeon Delver. Commander creatures you own have room abilities of dungeons you own trigger an additional time. So, if we get to trigger a dungeon somehow, we get to trigger it twice if we have this as Sefris in play. Yung Il Malison is also here. Can't be blocked as long as it's attacking alone and deals combat damage to a player. You get to venture. So it's a good reason to attack alone, especially if you put Delver's Torch on it. Fate's Reversal, return up to 1 target creature card from your graveyard to your hand, venture into the dungeon, go through your dungeon quicker. Damn is just a way of me controlling the board. 2 black mana to destroy a target creature that can't be generated, or we'll just overload it and do the Wrath of God effect. It's a nice little compromise either way. Triumphant Adventurer is also here. As long as it's our turn, it has first strike. Death Touch first strike is a lovely combination. And whenever it attacks, venture into a dungeon. Yep, we're doing a lot of venturing. You can see that already. Cloister Gargoyle enters the battlefield, venture. Gloomstalker, completed dungeon. It has double strike, which makes it that much better. A 2/3 double strike is worth a lot in this deck to me. Nadar's here though, the selfless paladin. Whenever other creatures you control get +1/+1 as long as you've completed a dungeon. So yeah, and it does it on its attack and entering the battlefield, which is nice. White Plume Adventurer is the card. Oh, sorry, I've moved my hand. Is the card that got banned that made me actually be able to afford to do this deck at long last. Yes, you enter the battlefield to take the initiative. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, you untap a creature. And then if you've completed a dungeon, untap all the creatures instead. But this is the one. This was sitting around at some stage on mtgo, about 19, 20 tickets. It has plummeted over the course of this week. So I think when I picked mine up, it's 8. I think it's probably gone even lower than that at this stage. That's why we've done this deck. So thank you, Wizards, for hitting this with a banhammer so I could play it in Commander. Bar the Gate, counter target creature or Planeswalker spell, then venture. Yep, a little bit of control. Nice. Displace the Beast. You get to return it to your hand for 3 mana and play it again. So, you know, return it to my hand for 4 mana and play it again. Gives you a nice repeatable way of entering. Ooh. Sorry, the yawning bugs hit me again. Eccentric Apprentice is also here. Enters the battlefield, venture. And if you complete a dungeon on your turn, at the beginning of your combat on your turn, if you complete a dungeon, up to 1 target creature becomes a bird with base, power and toughness, 1/1 of flying till the end of turn. Not quite sure why you'd want to do that, but it might remove a blocker. Imogen, the Mystic Trickster, is also here. The ward's quite nice. At the beginning of your end step, if you have the initiative, draw a card. Draw another card if you complete the dungeon. Yep, we like having the initiative. Obviously, Asarek the Archlich is also here. There's been several combo decks I've seen playing around in Standard and some of the older formats that basically involve using this to get it into play and bounce it back to your hand. But at the same time, it's a nice, good way of venturing in and out of dungeons if you've got spare mana every turn. The drop is here for a bit of enchant creature removal. Safana Kalimport Cutthroat is also here at the beginning of your end step. If you have the initiative, create a treasure token. Create 3 of those treasure tokens if you've completed a dungeon. We can get the initiative quite easily in this deck, so it's not too sad. Vicona Drora Posite also here. Get some cards back from our graveyard. The Yingtang Fang Blade is also in the deck. When it deals combat damage for a player, venture into a dungeon. Hammer Pasha Rune Seeker. Rune abilities of dungeons you control trigger a second time. Mortify for a bit of control. Dungeon Map for more venturing, mana sink. And Dungeoneer's Pack is also here. Sacrifice it. You take the initiative, gain 3 life, draw a card, and create a treasure token. Pretty good for 2 mana. Seasoned Dungeoneer is around. Take the initiative when it enters the battlefield. And whenever you attack a target attacking cleric, rogue, warrior, wizard gains protection from creatures till the end of turn, it explores. Reveal the top card of your library. If it's a land, put it that card in your hand. If it's a land, otherwise put a +1/+1 on that creature and put that card back or put it into your graveyard. It's got a nice little card, this one. I really like it that it's around. Veteran Dungeoneer. Enters battlefield, you venture. Settle the wreckage for a bit of control. The Sneaks here because you can take the initiative when it enters the battlefield, which is nice. Shortcut Seeker deals combat damage, venture into a dungeon. Clattering Skeletons, when it dies, you get to venture. Passageway Seer enters the battlefield, you take the initiative. And at the beginning of your end step, if you have the initiative, put a +1/+1 counter on it. So basically, the turn you play this, you end up with a 3/3 lifelink for 4, which is pretty good value for this sort of deck. Vicious Battle Rager comes into play. You get to take the initiative, and it becomes blocked by a creature. That creature's controller loses 5 life. So people don't tend to block it, to be fair. They just let you go through for 1. Damnation again to control the ball to go alongside Dam. Midnight Pathlighter. Creatures you control can't be blocked except by legendary creatures, which is nice. And whenever 1 or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, venture into a dungeon. Borrowing of the Clan Undur. Ventures and gets things back when we've completed dungeons. Savaric's Tomb. One, take if you have the initiative, add 2. So basically, the turn you play it is costing you 2 colourless mana instead of 4. So you get the 2 back instantly because you have the initiative. And then 3 mana, exile the cards from top of your library into your exile non-land. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost. Activate only if you completed a dungeon. So yeah, we should be doing that quite rapidly. Trailblazer's Torch. Enters the battlefield, you get the initiative and becomes blocked. It deals 2 damage to each creature blocking it. Elesh Norn, we've got a lot of things that trigger when we come in. You know, taking the initiative twice could be quite interesting. So Elesh Norn's turning up again, unfortunately. Planar Ally enters about attacks. You get to venture into the dungeon. Fairwild Caretaker enters the battlefield. You take the initiative, and at the beginning of your end step, get a 1/1 fairy dragon. Underdark Explorer, you get to enter the battlefield, takes the initiative. From the Catacombs, I didn't even know they'd put this card in Commander at long last until I was going through the cards for this. Put target creature from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control with a corpse counter on it. You take the initiative. If that creature would leave the battlefield, exile it instead, and then you can escape it by exiling 5 other cards from our library. You can keep repeating it. It's ridiculous. Zombie Ogre, in the beginning of your end step, if a creature died this turn, you get to venture. Elminster's here because we were doing a lot of stuff in the Forgotten Realms, really, and you know, Elminster's always been my favourite character, so I had to really include him. But we do have a few instances of sorceries, so we might as well have it in here, and the card draw and scry is quite nice. Rizala Ray, the Kingpin, enters battlefield, take the initiative. Whenever you attack, target attacking creature gains death touch until the end of turn. If you complete the dungeon, that creature also gets +5/+0, gains first strike and menace till the end of turn. Basically, if you've completed a dungeon, you've got this in play, one of your creatures is basically going to kill someone in a couple of turns. Bear it in mind. The last few, just for a bit of a laugh. Ancient Gold Dragon, just to get some more fairies, because, you know, Dungeons and Dragons in the day, you need some dragons. Ancient Silver Dragon's here. If we had the Black Dragon, that would be here. They still haven't programmed it yet. Please hurry up and program the Ancient Black Dragon. Get to draw the cards. And then I finished it off because I'm really got into playing them. We've got White Sun's Twilight for more removal and a bit of poison if need be. Black Sun's Twilight for targeted removal, but I've also, obviously, Blue Sun's Twilight, go and nick someone's creature. And if X is 5 for more, create a token that's a copy of that creature. So, you know, nicking someone's 2 creatures could be quite good for this deck. They're just a bit of fun at the end. They will probably be taken out at some stage and become more dungeon cards if the prices keep coming down like they are at the moment. But hey, I had 3 slots left and I decided to go with these, so shoot me later. But anyway, that's it. That is my take on Sefris of the Hidden Waves. I will most definitely be playing this on stream at some time soon. I've played it once already, but Zach wasn't around, so he missed it. So I'll be definitely playing it so Zach can see it and see how he can, you know, I know I've got a feeling his version was better than mine. So, but hey, I needed a break from doing MTG1. That will be back next week. I'm still working on a couple of commanders. There'll be more stuff happening next week for MTG for Extra or V1 commanders. So keep your eyes out for that. Let me know down below what I've missed out. You know, obviously some of the cards aren't available on MTGO. So if there's anything you would include in your paper deck, please leave me a comment down below and let me know what cards should be included if we ever get around to building this in paper. But that's it for now. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week with some more deck techs. Take care. See you soon. Bye.